It took a bit of a break. We had a nice intermission about psyched.
I am psyched. Best of five. We've had all three-game series yesterday. We had a 2-0 finally today, which was a bit unfortunate because it meant that we had that 3-hour break. But this is a BO5 that can really go either way right now. E.g., the lower bracket Kings
Oh yeah.
coming through match after match in that lower bracket, and here they are in the grand finals. I don't even think people are surprised they managed to do it.
Now, there's a lot I want to say to be able to hype this up, but I don't want to miss anything important. So, Brian, if the draft is up, let's cut to it because I want to see how we're going to get things rolling. But as we see, I'm not really surprised. Got to get an early ban on the Void for this one. Now, in the last series, I love the way Evil Genius were able to kind of manipulate that draft. You could tell almost that PPD had a game plan moving into today. He knew that if he kind of left the Wisp out there, it would tempt OG. They snagged it up, and then all EG had to do was kind of refer back to what they were doing, even as recent as Star Ladder. Huge team fight and pulling out that Enigma. Not really going to be expecting a lot of that for this series against EHOME. Not a team to pick up the Wisp, so I am very intrigued to see what EG are going to have for EHOME.
Yeah, and that's the thing with EG here. They can't just use the strategies they were using. Those were strategies designed just for OG. So they may kind of put in a hero here or there, but it's not going to be like a. I don't imagine we're going to see a Tide plus Enigma first two again, because it's not going to be all about the team fight when EHOME have the powerful pushing hero and Lone Druid. He can split push, he can group up his 5 and push, and EG already starting things very differently. Go for a first pick Invoker.
And it's almost has to be a no-brainer grab because if they don't take the Invoker in this first phase, then I would be surprised if EHOME pass on it because then you have the Alacrity Bear and it is just ridiculous. And imagine if they end up going and getting that LC again. Then you have Alacrity plus LC. We saw the work it could do. So nonetheless, EG grabbed that Invoker. Sumail, wonderful on the hero. He's played it 7 times already. A nice 4-3 record with that. But we got to see what they want to prioritize next to it here and now. You're going to be going against the Lone Druid now, so I don't know. Maybe an early grab Witch Doctor, let's say, that you know it's going to bounce well between the Bear. I'm very interested here. It is going to be the Witch Doctor, so good grab by them.
Yeah. So just securing, and it can be either Fear or PPD playing this. We saw Fear have a massive game on it at Starlighter, but also when they want to grab something more kind of aggressive that has some early pressure towards mid lane, they can still pick up the Tusk type hero for Fear, the Spirit Breaker. So they can be very flexible with the Witch Doctor in terms of who's going to be playing it.
Now we look back to EHOME here. You already know you're going to be going against an Invoker on the other side. Do you have to quickly grab up a high-profile mid laner to go against them before they all get X'd out? You still have some good options right there, going for like a Death Prophet, which has been a favorite here for EHOME, or even pulling out like the OD, let's say.
I think if they want Viper, they have to pick it now. That's like a hero that's just going to get banned out against them in the second stage. So it's not normally a first 2 pick, but it becomes a first 2 pick because you're not getting if EHOME consider it like a not a must-have hero or a key hero that could win them this game. If they don't want to reveal too much about their core heroes, then they just go for that like standard support grab, pick up either Lamb or Kaka's hero, like a Spirit Breaker type pick here in the first stage.
I would be surprised if they don't go for Viper now, then it will probably get banned in the second phase. But they decide to go with an early commitment for the Tusk here. And this is not, the old 11, serious business Tusk that we saw from Nanyang here. He's already committed for what looks like the Lone Druid, unless they do decide to flip the script a bit. But why the Tusk here and now?
Mid Invoker is very vulnerable to ganks when it's an Exort Invoker, which is what EHOME have to be expecting when they pick a Tusk, because I feel this is a hero you're picking to help pressure, roam around, gank the mid lane, and EG have been running almost exclusively Exort Invoker. They may reconsider that when they see a hero like Tusk, but if you have a mid hero, be it a Death Prophet, a Queen of Pain, whatever it may be against the Invoker, all it takes is an Ice Shard block and a Snowball, and you're probably looking at kills onto Invoker, unless you've got the Tornado, unless you've got even with the Ghost Walk, Tusk is going to have Sentry's Dust, so it's got to be Quaswex if you want to survive those kind of ganks.
No surprise to see that EG will get rid of the old chicken special right there. I don't know if you saw it, but someone had posted a fun little tidbit about old chicken. For anyone who didn't hear, I guess back in 2013, he decided to go on this ambitious journey and he wanted to be a pro player. So he posted up on the forums, "I want to be a pro." And everybody kind of laughed at him. And it really reminded me of the story of Eternal Envy. He did the very same thing. And look where he is now. Look where Envy ended up going. It's an amazing story. And obviously, I don't speak Chinese, so I couldn't really get all the details about it. But here he is, And they already achieved so much, even in their run at Frankfurt. But being able to take a title would just be so huge. But Then again, EG never seemed to lose, at least in recent history in China. DAC, WEC, lower bracket kings.
They are undefeated. This EG team is undefeated in Chinese LANs. And I think even the addition before when they had AUI instead of RTZ, they won DAC and they won the WEC or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I think they're 2-0 in the 2 Chinese LANs they've played so far. So this could be their third. I don't think they've ever actually lost in a Chinese LAN in Dota 2.
As much as they don't seem to enjoy China every moment, they seem to be taking a lot of their money. So that's good for them. Look at this, a Night Stalker ban. I would expect that more from the side of EG going against EHOME, not so much from EHOME going against EG. But then if you look at the bans already, there are not many options left for Universe here. He'd been playing a lot of the Faceless Void, Batrider, and then falling back on a Tide after that. But now Tide's out, Night Stalker's out. Got to be a bit curious to see what Universe is going to be going for, unless it's like a staple. Earthshaker is probably the first thing that stands out to me.
Yeah, he's actually very flexible with his picks, even though there is normally 2 or 3 he keeps on playing a lot of. The Tide, the Void, and the Batrider probably being the big 3 this tournament.
Yeah.
But he can pull out the Earthshake, he can pull out a Sanking out of nowhere, so you can pull out the Clockwork. Clockwork kind of fallen off, but he's one of those players that he's not hero pool limited. It's just EG, it's more a PPD who drafts in a way that makes some of their players feel like they're only playing a couple of heroes. Like Fear's played Earth Spirit and Tusk, it feels like almost every single game, but that's not because Fear has a limited hero pool. It's because those are the heroes PPD wants to be picking for their strats.
And I got to applaud Fear, man. He plays both those 4-position profiles so well, whether it's hyper-aggressive of your Tusk slash, Earth Spirit, like you were mentioning, or defensive, like a greedy jungler. We saw Enigma in the last series, which was great. And then remember that Kunkka for stalling?
Insane Kunkka game,
I mean, this guy, and not to mention he is a TI5 champion in a core position. I mean, I don't mean to gloat about him too much, but this guy is player of the century in my book. Look at this, a Slardar. Don't you get to see it very often, but I guess when you got all those other picks kind of taken away, you fall back to what works. And now you have the benefit of the minus armor, and you're on Dire side, so Roche options have now opened up, and you get your Initiator.
They've got a really good lineup for killing the Spirit Bear. Ice Wall with Cold Snap, amp damage makes it squishy. You've got the Crush, you've got the Witch Doctor Cask. This is not an easy game for the Lone Druid Spirit Bear in the mid to late game. Even early on, I mean, you don't expect Lone Druid to have a very good time until he gets farmed. So by the time he gets a Radiance, EG will have the tools to actually deal with him.
Very curious now what EHOME are going to throw the way of Old Chicken right now. They've really targeted him out. No Death Prophet now even on top of the Viper. And to be honest, those were his number 1, number 2 go-tos. So do you need to get like a hefty spellcaster, falling back for like Alina, let's say, at some point? Or
Razor's probably a common, a kind of common substitute. Maybe not a common Old Chicken hero, but it plays very similarly to what the Viper does. And even in some ways to the Death Prophet doesn't have that huge crazy ultimate that gives you the same pushing power and teamfight as Exorcism, but it's just a very stable mid with strong farming capabilities, scales pretty well, and against Slider Amp, against the Invoker with single target spells, the Unstable Current can be quite strong.
So EHOME opt in the meantime to pick up a filler support. They grab up the Lion right here. We know it's done serious work in the hands of Lanham, 4 games, 3-1, and he does like to be very proactive with it, so doesn't need to necessarily kind of bunker down the safe lane. Once it maybe is secured, he's going to be very mobile. But look at this. Actually, we're changing things up a bit. Nature's Prophet comes out, so could be Universe, could be a 4-position Fear grab, could be an RTZ core.
He played it in the core role just recently. I think that's probably what EG have in mind with this. I think it's unlikely we see a Slider in RTZ's hands. I think he wants to be playing that more carry role.
This is crazy. So I anticipate if they decide to go with the Quas Exort Invoker, the Forge Spirits, potentially Necro Book moving in, and now all these Treants coming out. Hefty pushing power by them.
And EHOME want to get some more wave clear. So Lina, Dragon Slave, combine that with the Ice Shards, and you've got pretty good deep push coming out from the side of EHOME. And also the single target burst damage from Lion to Lina.
Double lasers.
Have fun, Slider. Yeah, when you're sprinting in, taking extra damage, you are going to have to be very, very careful.
Now, what they might lack is if they decide to make this Nature's Prophet be a bit more split intensive, kind of being all over the place, the catch capability until Lion is able to get a blink. I guess once Lina is able to get her move speed and Yules, it could become a bit easier, but I do fear that this Nature's Prophet could be a bit elusive. EG rid of the Juggernaut here. being able to also provide his own strong mid-game fight, good sustain. That the ward along with the bear is really good, being able to push on forward, and typically a strong CTY go-to.
Yeah, they're going to need some kind of somewhat fighting safe lane carry. Sluck, probably one of the big ones that comes to mind. There's a lot of spells that can go through his Shadow Dance, so you can still crush him with Slaughter. The Invoker has a lot of spells that can still hit him, and EG going to be running the Fear Witch Doctor. They pick up a last pick Treant after Enigma ban. PPD instantly snagged that. He already knew what he wanted.
Yeah, he's been pulling this out a lot in the recent series now. Obviously adds global sustain without him having to be present. Will help a bit with the towers that are probably going to be softened up quite a bit with the Lone Druid being on the other side. And you can't forget that Overgrowth is just going to be wonderful here with setup between him and the Slardar, and then Invoker being able to just unleash a fury of spells. There's a serious team fight here for EG already. Now we look to EHOME's side now. We need a CTY grab. I like the idea of the Slark, but as you said, there are some things that could prove to be in trouble. Other than that, Morphling was something you went for here, but do they have the stall tactics in the way to kind of allow Morphling to, farm in the late game?
Morph's pretty good. Normally, I think the main problem with Morphling is you want to have 4 other heroes that can fight and push while the Morphling just farms, and that's not really... Lone Druid actually... the Lone Druid's the hero who needs 4 heroes that can fight while he catches up, and that's where I think CTY wants that more fighting style carry that doesn't have to... Like a Morphling wants to have some solo time, go off and do his own thing.
Do they ever play... I dare say Lifestealer or something like that? Another fighting hero? Maybe the Rage could be necessary?
Oh, there's
Ursa!
Like the king of fighting carries.
Okay, that's a manly hero. And the debut, I believe, at MDL here.
And Ursa is one of those really interesting heroes because this hero doesn't farm, doesn't scale under the late game. It's purely ever picked because it kills heroes. If you don't have like 5 kills by 20 minutes, if you're not getting like 10 plus kills in a 30-40 minute game, you're losing with Ursa. Like the hero has not fulfilled its purpose if it's not getting hero kills. It's one of the probably unique and only heroes in the game that's played like that, but this is a very ballsy pick.
Yeah, almost high risk, high reward, you would say here for EHOME, the way they've kind of put this draft together.
Yeah, definitely high risk. It's... I mean, not a mass, like, as far as what Ursa can give them, it gives them very strong lanes. So I think one of the things we saw in both the Evil Geniuses versus OG games was winning the laning stage. Sometimes you just snowball from there. So EHOME didn't want to pick another carry, lose the lanes. You've already got a farming Lone Druid, so Ursa gives them the really good lanes. And I think the fact you have to go for a lot of kills is that's very conducive to EHOME's preferred playstyle. So for them, it's just going to be playing their normal style in a lot of ways. Despite having a different hero in the CTY hands.
With that said, away we go, folks. Game number 1 of the MDL LAN Grand Final matchup right now. EHOME going against the Evil Geniuses right here. And to echo from what you were talking about, it is going to be something tricky here for EG to be able to keep tabs on not just the Ursa now as the 5th pick, but even the Lone Druid. How many times have we seen EHOME, they pressure the Lone Druid early, punish 11 early, but then somehow he just ends up creeping down the lane, takes a tier 1, damages a tier 2, and next thing he becomes a big problem. And this is a PPD special. The early lead seed and the huge base damage right-click coming out is just going to force whoever's in his way to just dig into the regen early.
Yeah,
if not, make the walk of shame back to base.
That boots first Treant Protector. No fun at all. We'll be EG with numbers here at the bottom rune, so if Lina wants to grab a rune, has to head top, and likely will look to do so at this stage.
Lone Druid trying to...
He may have to be the Lone Druid picking it up. If Lina doesn't get there, the Treants can always deny it, so...
Okay, they'll get the one Treant down. He's moving in, and it will be snagged up from 11 right there. He'll take that business.
The last time I think RTZ played this Nature's Prophet was in this exact same 1v1 matchup where he had that Prophet versus Lone Druid, where he's safe lane. He can just right-click down, harass the Lone Druid out of lane by just putting Treants on him, and already down to about 200 HP. This lane gets kind of tricky here, and you're kind of happy and almost expecting your Lone Druid to be against 2 or 3 heroes because he can just fall back, farm his big camp, and he's forcing 2 to 3 heroes to commit their time, but EG say, let's just beat him with 1, and then we can also contest the lane where the Ursa is.
Can't help but feel like it's going to be a nice start for Sumail because it looks like EHOME are going to have all access help towards this bottom lane right now. PPD is actually it's a full aggro lane coming out from EG, so this kind of forces the Tusk to be obligated to stick it to this bottom lane and away from the mid lane, which will work perfect for Sumail. Look at this, early moves coming out from EG. They land the crutch and the early lead seed, and man, they just start to bully down this Ursa. He's already going to have to pull out the salve right now. And he's going to have a hard time getting CS.
Yeah, they got to get their pulls going. They don't want to fight EG. Treant at level 1 just too damn powerful, and their options are kind of just limited to using their pull camp. But EG will just come in, prevent any pull-throughs. You're not going to get a double or a triple pull off of this, and EHOME have lanes under heavy, heavy pressure early on.
I gotta say, it looks like the early start for Old Chicken isn't going too bad on the Lina right now. It's a clear one-on-one. There's going to be no sort of outside interference in the meantime because of this bottom lane, and the Lina's getting the upper hand in the meantime.
The clear one-on-one, so that's what Sumail often wants, and he so rarely gets them, and teams just normally refuse to give him that kind of a matchup.
Oh, looking to man up on the big tree right here. Oh, follow-up stun does come out from Lanham, but then the counter-attack is going to be the crush coming out from Universe, but another overpower here, looking to go for Fear. Can he get the catch on the Little Witch Doctor? He can with the snowball, and they'll be able to grab the Fear kill. Now a 1 for First Blood. Universe, not close
too
enough.
risky. He had, I think, Fairy Fight, I believe, on Slider. He had a salve, he had mangoes, you're in danger there. And all they needed for EHOME there, the key thing is they got level 2, and that Earth Shock from Ursa has such a short cooldown that he could just spam it out continuously. Easy, manning up here. The Bear's the one taking the
no, he's got to be forced to retreat. Can he make it on time? Yes, he can. Last moments right there, but that opens the lane up for LD, and Arteezy slightly getting outmatched, and we know 11 plays a damn good Lone Druid here, so.
It seems somewhat planned out by Arteezy, just so we can come back to lane with full HP and mana, but it's still, like you say, gives Lone Druid a bit of a free lane for some time.
He's still doing really well. 13 and 8, top of the CS on this Nature's Prophet, so he's doing good. Sumail now, obviously, flexing off this Alacrity. He's getting the levels together now, so it's becoming a bit easier for him in the mid game. Or in the mid lane, rather. So, and it does look like Tusk has made the rotation. He's lingering around this mid lane a bit and potentially looking for an opening.
I wonder if he even considers heading towards top and trying to gank Prophet around the level 5 of Lone Druid, because that to me is a big problem lane for EHOME right now. The Prophet comes back full HP mana. Lone Druid doesn't really have much up his arsenal. He's already been chipped away at, and a very vulnerable hero to ganks. So you can get like a one route, and you've got Tusk there to cancel a TP out. You're looking at potential easy kills.
And he's approaching now. He's got the smoke set up, but Sumail's a bit hesitant. He'd been off the radar for quite a while, and yeah, once Lina's put herself in that kind of high ground positioning, things are looking a bit fishy. Good positioning from Sumail, avoids danger.
Yep. C2I coming in, actually getting the last hit on that big Satyr, so he's getting himself a really good time on the bottom lane now. Has 17 CS, beating the Slider, and with the early kill as well. He's actually turned into a very successful lane for EHOME, despite things looking shaky early on.
Do EG need to consider any sort of change-up now that they continue to keep the Witch Doctor near the bottom? PPD continues to stay there a bit. And
undetected is this Tusk.
All right, Arteezy. Oh, just walks right past the shards, gets a Sprout down, but the Snowball's just going to roll right through those trees. Dishes out some Treants, but he's getting body blocked here seriously from Kaka. He just keeps getting bumped in the back right now, but will be able to make it back to the tree. Or to the base. But all the meanwhile, looks like they were able to get the kill. Lina's going to be going down in the mid lane in the hands of Sumail. Okay. Or PPD in particular.
Yeah, PPD
rotated
him, and with the Lina, they killed the Lina. That's a big kill on the Lina. The Ursa getting another kill in the support. Not the end of the world for EG. They get the much bigger prize.
Yeah, you don't always suspect the
PPD just tree. Disguising himself as a tree there. Like,
no one really sees that set too often.
Yeah, that said, it looked like he just blended in. He's got camouflage here.
And Kaka just casually walks right by him, eats the leech seed, and goes down. Maybe he actually didn't know PPD was there, for God's
He might have
sakes.
actually been hiding in fog, too. There's like a little spot underneath those trees, which is in fog. I couldn't quite tell, but...
You don't expect the mobile tree, though. He's been hanging around the bottom, and then just as I was alluding to the idea of maybe they need a bit of a change-up, he went right onto the move to the mid lane. And they already got some work done, but right back from death. Here is Kaka going towards this mid lane. On the way in, does drop the sentry before taking it out. Wants to get the finishing blow on Sumail, but that mighty tree armor coming in from PPD. But he's the one who might need it himself. Eats up a root, and, well, there's going to be Fear. Steps in with the coconut and will assist his partner in crime. Uh-oh. Overpower now. Reaches in and is slashing apart. Is going to be onto Universe here. Lanham gets a beautiful setup. Once they realize the Witch Doctor's not in the lane, they know he's alone, and they make their move.
Talk about Ursa needing kills. Well, he's already secured 3 of them for his team in this bottom lane. So, as far as Ursa's game's going, this is the kind of start you need, and you don't necessarily expect it, but you're picking Ursa to get these kills on in the safe lane.
Yeah.
You're not just wanting him to sit there free farming away, trying to farm. I mean, you farm a blink and your kills come a lot easier, but you want to get kills along the way to that blink dagger.
PPD had picked up a nice early arcane boots, and for PPD at 6 minutes, that is amazing. So that kill participation early is now
even got
led
the
him
last
to,
hits on the kills. He's got
yeah.
he's 2-0.
So he's got this huge mana pool to work with, almost perma living armors to dish out right now. And it makes it that much harder for EHOME to kind of even break through those tier 1s. You could soften him up a bit, but he will constantly be that tower paramedic to keep him well. And Kaka knows the pressure is on him. We pointed that out in the draft that he's going to be looking to get very proactive here. But we'll see. Is this straight to Roche already?
Yep.
Only with the Morbid Mask, and yeah, he's going right in.
Trying to sneak one by EG. EG could
Any
likely
means?
kind of catch on to this going on once they see Ursa no longer farming at bottom, but he's either in the jungle, at Roshan, possibly ganking because he's level 6, so there's a few options as to where Ursa can be, and you just don't really have the ability to always scout this one out. Like, Nature's Prophet's on the top side of the map. You can't just send a tree there, and it'll be a very straightforward Roshan for CTY, who doesn't even have to commit the ultimate if he doesn't want to, although just for the sake of ease, he will.
Going to turn into a bit of a scary bear at this point, so back to the bottom hemisphere he goes. PPT is also going to go that way. So when you're an Ursa and you're able to actually acquire the Aegis, I mean, obviously you got to be feeling pretty damn good, but what are you looking to do with it now?
Let's go for the Mask of Madness. I was curious because I saw him, like, he was sitting on 1,000 gold, and then I saw him buy a recipe. I'm like, what do you buy with a recipe at this stage?
That's a spicy grab
Yeah,
right there.
this is kind of like a, to be straightforward, this is a pub build. This is something I see like some pub stars do on Ursa a lot in their pub games, and it can completely snowball out of control. You get 15, 20 kills, and the way CTY is going to be playing this game is he's going to be just looking to punish any stragglers, isolate heroes where he can, and this is the kind of build which could really put EG on the back foot and cause some problems.
Now, I'm not a huge Ursa player, but I would assume that the Mask of Madness, downside is going to be mitigated from his ultimate, right? Because of the damage reduction?
Yep.
Normally you take amplified damage, but he just pops his ultimate and he's like, I don't need to suffer the downsides. I'm just going to continue to go man mode here.
Absolutely, and even though you have overpower on Ursa, like you chew through your first overpower, and then suddenly you're hitting slowly, and it generally takes more than like 4 or 5 swings to kill a hero. So the Mask of Madness really actually synergizes quite well with overpower because you can just pop it if you don't have enough right clicks to kill them during it. So a really nice item. You get tons of movement speed with the phase plus Mask of Madness as well, and he's going to have plenty of kill potential here.
And with the exception of maybe like a high damage Nature's Wrath, there isn't any sort of hefty burst from EG that could punish the Mask of Madness. All that hefty burst is on the side of EHOME with your Laguna and your finger. Mid lane, we got a snowball coming in from Kaka, looking to go for Sumail, but he's quick on the finger with a ghost, but it doesn't matter. They got the vision, they dropped the Laguna, they're going to get the kill. Response from Fear with the Death Ward, but Old Chicken is able to just make his way up to the high ground, and Universe walks right into a trap set from Lanham. Beautiful setup with the finger. They're going to get the grab onto the Slardar. Now they look for Fear. There's the Mask of Madness coming out, and they're going to look to shred apart the Doctor right now, and they'll get that one. EHOME go on a slaughter here in the 9-minute mark, taking down 3 from EG.
Yeah, that was such a good bait onto the high ground from Lina and Lion. They got the first kill, and Lina surviving on 80 HP. I'm thinking, is Prophet going to TP, and that's a possible bait. Slardar runs up. They just give that extra kill, using their ultimates very early on. Often you see like a Lion or a Lina pick up their, like when they get their ultis, take like 2 or 3 minutes before they find a kill, but finding insta-kills, putting them on cooldown. They do have to be a bit careful now because EG can kind of play around some of those cooldowns, but gives EHOME a very big lead here. It's created space for Old 11 to push down a tier 1 tower and get his Midas, which is probably the most important thing about all that.
Oh, yeah.
Because as far as the game plan goes, finding kills is kind of like a nice boost to them. It's giving them the lead and all, but they've got to get this Lone Druid farm. He had a bit of a rough laning stage, and now he's actually caught up and is on par with the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, this is where you would get nervous for EG because they might end up neglecting the bear a bit too much. Oh, there's a couple of bears in this game, but specifically the Lone Druid, just because of how up in arms they were, and instantly frazzled by the idea that, okay, this Ursa's on the prowl, he has a Mask of Madness, we got to be on the watch, but see, like this, potentially lingering in the woods, RTZ will pull off. Almost a close opportunity there, but they're going to have to worry and keep an eye out for this Ursa, and next thing you know, you're forgetting about the Lone Druid, but EG's not going to forget about him. They are going to be moving in, and they spotted him out, and they'll be able to take him down. So,
yeah, and I think they realize he's always or often going to be alone, while the rest of the EHOME team are playing aggressive, looking for kills. It's Lone Druid farming in the passive places, either in his safe lane, in his jungle, and he's not going to have good protection.
And
so
he's alone usually, far from home, far from his friends. So
one of the
usually
better kills to go for.
That does mean that they will be able to add the pressure to the mid lane. Oh, nice attempt there from Sumail, but it will be a swing and a miss on the Sunstrike, and EHOME will be able to secure that tier 1. But look at this, Kaka intercepts, tries to catch Fear on the way in. The snowball's going to be able to get stunned up. The crush is going to be there. The amp damage is going to add all the extra deeps, and EG will be able to get the pick off onto Kaka.
Tower went down as well, so EG taking some objectives down here, but C2I has farmed up Blink Dagger during this period of time. Hasn't had much HP or mana for a while, but hasn't stopped him from playing aggressive up on the map despite that. And Lion helping sustain him with some arcane boots. Not an everyday item for a Lion
who has mana drain.
Yeah, it's very team oriented. And this is something I actually see Lion do. Lion's done it quite a bit with his line, but almost no other Lion player does it. Most Lions will go Brown Boots Blink or Tranquil's Blink with like a magic stick or a magic wand.
Do you think they're considering that he might need to get something like a mech, eventually turn it into Greaves?
Yeah, it's a good option. If they want to have an item like that, he's the one who's going to buy it. But kind of depends on how the game flows.
Because last time RTZ played Nature's Prophet, he did get an Orchid. So I mean, I know he's not the focal target of it, but look at this top lane. They get the catch onto PPD, leading with the stun, snowball shards, the whole works, and zap. Lanham gets the pop right there, taking down PPD.
All right. I think we'll see 11. He's actually farming now on the other side of the map in what looks to be more aggressive positions, but it's near his teammates. So he realizes if he just goes bottom or farms his jungle, there's possible EG aggro wards in being placed. So he wants to be as nearby his team as possible to avoid getting ganked time and time again. Another Orchid build. You mentioned Artesia. Last time it looks like the exact same build. The drums into Orchid.
I guess the Orchid, specifically to help shut down the Lina a bit. But I imagine she's going to be picking up a Eul's at some point.
Well, they're all going Aether Lenses on the EHOME
Aether
side.
Lenses and obviously
this
Aether
Finger
Lens
Laguna damage output is going to be pretty absurd, not to mention the
impale range is just ridiculous. And Lanham can turn that single impale into a Ravage real fast.
That explains the arcane boots now.
Yeah,
so. He's more or less there, which is crazy to think when we're just 13.5 minutes in and all he needs is a recipe, assuming he is going to disassemble the arcane boots.
And Lina will get her phase. So after that, could still follow up with the Eul's to add to the ridiculous move speed. Obviously, the Aether Lens will allow her to have that much extra range for the Eul's setup, and obviously will be able to Eul's on herself in case the pesky Orchid Nature's Prophet does come a-knocking.
One of the first times in a bit of a rare build coming out from Lina with the Aether Lens Rush, not going for a Eul's or any items before it, but really an item which just pays for itself always. The kill potential goes up because of the extra boost in damage, the extra range in your spells, so nice to see some kind of different players going for their different kind of own builds on these heroes.
Smoke coming out now. They're looking to make their move for Lanham here at the bottom lane. He has a ward, but he's not going to see this. And the courier as well. Universe, is he going to look to get a 2-for-1 special here?
We might drop
looking for it. Sprint. They're going right for the line, it looks like. Set up with the coconut. Crush is going to be there, and even a death ward going to be committed from Fear.
I was scared for a second that Lion was going to disassemble. He has to disassemble his arcane boots and lose an energy booster or something, because those heroes bypass his observer ward. So if he tried to put together his Aether Lens, he was going to have to drop stuff on the ground, which could have been an absolute disaster for him.
Fortunately for him, he only just loses his life.
Yeah.
But it is just a support line to go down who just purchased his item, so it's not going to be the worst thing in the world here. 11 back to the grind, this time hang out in the mid lane with assistance coming out from Kaka nearby. He's swelling in the money now, getting closer and closer to the Relic. Once Radiance comes together, then things could be a bit more difficult for EG being able to kind of press past the river.
With the D-ward here. Oh, both teams see each other.
Everyone knows what's going on at this point. They're going to get the quick obs D-ward and take out the sentry, it looks like. So it's only going to be EHOME left with the 1 sentry here. High tension.
And relatively quick Roche respawn. Already back up. And that's something EHOME will be eyeing off over the next stages. But Universe has Blink Dagger, so there's a lot of kill potential out of this EG side. Universe with the Blink initiation, and then you've got global presence from Invoker as well as Nature's Prophet. Having Sunstrike, having the Wrath of Nature. You've always got to be very careful on the EHOME side. And Ursa's already in the pit. He sees a couple heroes on the top side of the map. He's feeling confident about this.
Yeah.
Although they don't actually see PPD. He's up here. Okay, now they see him.
Oh, he pops the overgrowth here. And he looks to walk out from trouble. Doesn't seem like they have the detection, so he's going to be A-okay. But no scouting coming out from EG. The second Roche, once again, going to be picked up here from EHOME, specifically CTY, who now grabs the Aegis, and they will take this momentum to the bottom lane and look to make a go for the tier 1. And as you can see, PPD continues to try to heal them all up, so EHOME can continuously need to start from scratch when they make these pushes.
PPD used the overgrowth up top, so won't have that set up for the Invoker.
But
Chaos Meteors and Sunstrikes.
They're plenty with this guy right here, though.
Yep.
Sahil O'Neal.
He's very squishy, though. He gets that first blink crush off. If he gets hit by a disable in the the Lion or the Lina stun, he's just going to instantly die. And a hero like Slaughter, you want to keep him alive for the fight because the crush has such a short cooldown. You want to be getting off 2 or 3 in a row with amps onto multiple heroes as well.
EHOME do seem to be reading the situation well. They know a lot are missing, and they actually change over. Yeah, it looked like they were trying to make a grab for Arteezy, who already TP'd back to base, but...
And EG immediately tried to jump in bottom.
Yeah.
Slaughter blinking forward, but you know as soon as you see 2 or 3 heroes top, like there may be a straggler bottom who didn't back off with his teammates. But not the case. And Relic has been acquired, so 17 minutes in, looking like that kind of 20-minute Radiance timing.
Oh, good catch right there.
Okay.
All right.
Fair. Bit of a nice gold boost more than anything. For the lone druid, he doesn't really care about the cooldown at this stage. He's unlikely to die another time.
CTY, man. This guy. He's an innovator. Boom! How you doing? Arteezy will be able to get the Sprout, but he's quick to cut down the tree, and he will continue to slash him apart. Nature's Prophet goes down. Good catch for CTY, but now they're going to look to retort. This is for the Aegis, mind you. He gets the ultimate off, so he's going to be negating a lot of that damage. Maldic comes out, but he is a slow beast. Here comes EHOME. Are they going to be able to get this Aegis down? Oh, a forgiving bounce, and it will be able to go down. So CTY will lose his Aegis. So looks like all EG wanted.
Kill on Prophet, that's all right. And they're not a team who's getting Aegis to try and push and siege EG. They may be able to do so regardless with the lone druid, but Ursa having an Aegis is not like a key item for him to push. It's a key item for him to dive and go for kills like that.
Yeah.
You want an Aegis on Ursa so you can just YOLO for kills. And well, he YOLOs for a kill, he gets it. Sometimes you die for it, and well, luckily it's an Aegis.
Yeah. YOLO for the kills, and then you push because you have the advantage in numbers. So CTY bought that diffusal, has yet to put it on himself. So what is the story? Let's pick the brain of CTY here a bit.
Ghost Scepters are always like the most bored item against Ursa, although I don't believe we actually have anyone rich enough to have them.
Nice gap closing jump comes out from Universe. Lanham though still lives on, is able to get off the stun, turns the corner, avoids the meteor here, and he's trying to step away from the burn damage. And suddenly comes CTY right now. Long deafening blast. We'll get the catch from Sumail. Finishing off Lanham right there, but CTY continues to go to work, and they've already taken down 2. Looking to go for Universe. Living Armor helps him for a bit, but now the Diffusal purges him.
What?
Slow down to the Sentry. CTY slaughtering him apart. He's going through these charges like it's nothing.
I think he just used 3 at once, all on the Slaughter.
Did he like remove amp damages and do it? Like, my goodness.
I don't know, but I just saw him on 6 charges, and then he suddenly hit 3. Like, he must have spammed the hell out of that hotkey. Oh. But it's great because you can keep the Slaughter in position when he's trying to sprint away. You mentioned getting rid of the amp damage, although I think he wants to use it more offensively.
Yeah.
I believe it purges off Living Armor. He used it on a Living Armor here. I'm not 100% sure on the mechanics there.
It was Universe who had it, but it was hard to gauge. I guess if it technically he purged the slow and it removed the Living Armor. So
I'm not sure if he right-clicked off the Living Armor or if it purged it off. That's a mechanic I'm not aware of, but it's great against Living Armor if it does purge it off. So that's maybe one of the reasons why he got it.
Obviously, that was the ward that led to all that trouble for EHOME, so Lanham are quick to
Living Armor is purgeable. We got the confirmation, so
he gets to slow him down and remove the Living Armor, so Diffusal seeming like a pretty damn clever pick here, Mr. C2Y. Never ceases to amuse me. And now they're looking to pressure up towards this top lane in the meantime. While
he's gonna have to go for the Envy double Diffusal build with how fast he's going through charges.
Yeah, right? Clever pick for now, but waiting out. PPD's in a curious little watch post position. You got a nice ward right by the tier 1. Oh, they're scouting out looking for Kaka right here, and they do guess wrong. He continues to wait. And now PPD will see CTY kind of roaming his way.
Yeah, it's that stage of the game where you almost need to be buying a gem, otherwise PPD will get tons of scouting information for his team. Play that bounty hunter-like role, get deep wards down, and we see one near the tier 1 top tower, one in the mid lane. He's getting tons of crucial vision for EG. When you're behind, you need all the vision you can get to try and pick and choose fights to your liking.
Look at this. Look at this net worth, though.
Line's just picked something up as well. I wonder if he's got a blink? Oh, just wards. That's ambitious.
That
He's got 3.7k net worth, yeah.
Oh, look at this. They've dropped the sentry. They see the tree, so they use him up, and they chop him on down. Quick, easy grab for CTY to get his mega kill streak. They are going to take down Kaka. Maybe a hard commitment right into an Invoker combo, but look at the dirty work that this man has been doing in the bottom lane here. 11, going to town on a tier 2. Can't sleep on him, but now he's going to get sprouted up. Can't chop down the tree. Sends his bear aside. He's looking to hide away himself, but they have caught him out, and they will get him. 2 for 1.
Yeah, nicely played by EG, making sure they not only get the punish onto Kaka at top, but coordinate their TPs and rotation bottom to make sure they kill the split pushing Lone Druid. So Lone Druid just playing that kind of greedy side lane farmer, and that's his role here, but you need to have a way out from that gank, but EG just on point, keeping in all the right heroes in the right order. Nature's Prophet getting him with the Sprout and making it so there was no escape.
Lanham gets sprouted up. He gets caught with the Orchid, and what? I mean, that's style points there. He doesn't even want to stay for the funeral. He just goes. But good timing to get out because Old Chicken was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, one more right click could have almost been the death of him. With a Yule's Aether Lens,
yep,
he had plenty of catch.
BKB seems to be in order for our CTY Ursa. So as if he wasn't able to go man mode enough, now can really just do as he pleases. Imagine if he's able to get the next Roshan Aegis and have this BKB. There won't be much to stop him. Oh. What do you think, though, if we start thinking long-term for both these drafts? Because it is a bit interesting. Lone Druid is typically always outclassed by someone else, but in this game almost looks like one of the best available. You have Nature's Prophet on the other side with an Invoker, and then the Ursa. So
EG don't have that clear late game like hard carry by any means, but heroes like Invoker go very well late game, and their entire team has a lot of teamfight synergy. You've got the minus armor coming from Slaughter, and then the heavy physical damage from a Witch Doctor, and you have the Treant who keeps everyone in place with Overgrowth. So there's this great teamfight synergy which EHOME may run into issues dealing with if they somehow don't manage to find the Witch Doctor, cancel that death wall. We've seen Fear, what he can do in a Witch Doctor, and that's a player you just can't ignore in a team fight. So PPD, he's been on point as far as making sure that.
PPD though, is spotted out right between a sentry. They get the vision and have the dust, and they will get the kill. And Ursa does
but
also.
PPD makes sure his team has all like the necessary vision to win them team fights. Like a death like that is ultimately the kind of result of the way he's been playing and securing EG tons of scouting information. So
and they're not done yet. They're creeping in. They're going to be spotting out Arteezy. Here comes the snowball, but they get the forced assistance, and Arteezy might be able to make it back towards the tower. Shard's going to be coming up close, and it looks like EHOME will have to end their pursuit.
All right, great full stuff. Keeping him alive there. Smell close to an Aghanim Scepter, so he's going to be kind of looking to scale towards that late game scary Invoker. Probably has to get a BKB along the way just because of the Lion, Lina, the Tusk. But Zag Scepter going to make this Invoker that little bit more potent in these upcoming team fights.
EG looking for an element of surprise here. It might be their best bet, because if EHOME ever have the wherewithal, how the fight's going to begin. And it looks like Kaka takes the one journey away from his team and into a bit of trouble. Cheeky little snowball, but whoa! That's a finger in a Laguna. A lot of hate there for Arteezy. And then the jump from CTY is also going to get the follow-up. Takes down the kid and his father. Now they look for Sumail. They're going to be able to get the catch. Does the LSA and the finish. Suddenly it went from 0 to 60, and EHOME take the lives of 3. And now go into the high ground.
Oh, no buyback on 2 of those 3 dead. Only the Nature's Prophet who can, and it's really the Invoker that you need a buyback on in this situation. BD's flanking, but the damage at this stage comes primarily from the Invoker. Even the Witch Doctor is probably one of the next biggest damage deals with Death Ward. And
look at the bear just demolish. Walking battering ram right now. EG already lost their melee racks in the mid lane. good move for EHOME, and they're happy with those winnings, and they will just quickly get the hell out.
C2 upgrades its Diffusal. And this item, the other kind of thing to talk about is it gives massive agility at a very kind of low cost effective price. So he's going to be just dishing out more damage with the attack speed it provides and makes EG's life that little bit more difficult.
One of those fun heroes that I will be guilty of admitting, like, even when I was like first getting into Dota 2, and I guess I didn't notice in Dota 1 that Ursa is an agility hero, just like Wisp is a strength hero. It's just one of those things that you don't see by the cover of the book. But now we see EHOME waiting out, I'm sure, for the next Rosh and Aegis opportunity. Oh man, just seems like every chance PPD. They have the sentries at the ready, and they'll take him down again.
It looks bad, but the idea from PPD, he has to keep doing this. So EHOME are just starting to read very well his movements, and they're investing a lot into these sentry wards. And I don't think you can even attribute this Roshan to PPD getting caught out. This was always going to be a near impossible Rosh to contest, much like the last two. Problem is, this is now the third Rosh, so it is Aegis as well as Cheese, which is a nice little extra item to help with that high ground siege that EHOME's likely going to be trying to go for.
And he makes that third Rosh look easier than the first two. Takes it down. They got the extra life. And yeah, you make a good point. I mean, the nice factor with getting this kind of PPD tree where he goes very roam and brings in all that intel for the team is usually it can starve the supports who have to get all those sentries, but doesn't seem to be costing EHOME a lot. And now looking to make chase here for Arteezy. He will have to double back, and they're hungry for a $300 purse, but they're not going to get it. Quick pullback from 11 as he gets back into the grind to farm, but uh-oh, a retort. Lanham. Yep, they get the catch. Good response here from EHOME, and just as CTY shows up, he eats a deafening blast. So he'll have to stay back.
He wanted it in, but can't blink with the forward spirits on him now as well. So nice little pick off. EHOME lose a line, will have to back off. It does eat away at that Aegis duration that they want to be pushing during.
Yeah, you really do need to have Lanham on hand, because if Fear's able to get off that big death ward, they have a couple of options on stopping him, but I'm sure an Aether Lens line is probably one of the better options. So want to make sure they have all lockdown and disable at the ready.
He started really strong on the line. He had Aether Lens at an amazing time, but since then it's been a bit slower, and he's been on the receiving end of a couple of nasty EG ganks. So, and there is a Ghost Scepter on Fear on Witch Doctor, so that's where this Diffusal Blade does come into play.
8 charges now he can burn through quickly, so no one is going to be safe in the Wrath of the Bear. Continues to work out this way.
We'll see how long those 8 charges last. Give it maybe 2 team fights.
So we see now Evil Geniuses as the Aegis was picked up from EHOME. Gonna have to stall as they can. And looks like an opportunity to make a go for the Bear.
It's got silence and everything. They're trying to TP on. Okay, Ursa changes his mind. I think it was
mind game TP.
Yeah, yeah, like you say, mind game him, try and scare him off, and then you could save the Bear. But Witch Doctor is incredibly good against Lone Druid with Cass as well as Maledict. The Maledict actually really destroys the Spirit Bear. So very good hero to have, and that's why EG prioritized that in the first stage of this game. You can kind of see it there, but ultimately I think EG went almost too much emphasis on countering the Lone Druid with their picks. They picked up a lot of heroes that can help kill the Spirit Bear. I mean, the Invoker was going to be a good pick regardless, but it feels like every hero they've picked up in some way has been kind of to help kill off the Spirit Bear. The Slatter with the Amp plus Crush, the Dream Protector, you've got Overgrowth in the mix as well, so the Ursa is turning to be the biggest problem, more so than the Lone Druid at this stage, even though Lone Druid's very farmed.
Didn't seem like EG were able to get as much out of that aggro lane as they probably liked, being able to bully the Ursa and prevent it from being a problem. Eventually they did find some kill opportunities in the bottom lane, and the Ursa got that quick first Rosh, and the kills started coming in.
Yeah. And even the way EG were laning it was slightly designed to help counter and punish the Lone Druid, but here we are, 30 minutes in, and EHOME
they're looking to finish what they started in the mid lane.
Poor Lanham.
How about the high ground defense here from EG and what they can really do about it? Oh, CTY looking to make a go for Arteezy, but he doesn't have a way to get through the Sprout. So it's a clean getaway for him. But look at the slow siege coming up from 11. Just get in there, Bear.
By the way, Ursa Ags, that's a fun one. It's kind of becomes like Abaddon Ultimate, where you can use it while you're stunned to get out of the stuns, and I think it also reduces cooldown. I want to say, Scepter cooldown 18 instead of 30. So yeah, it reduces
18?
cooldown.
That could easily be twice in a fight.
And it's ridiculous because you get stunned up by Slaughter, you can just pop it off and it dispels the stun as well as the amp damage. So
Wow.
very, very good upgrade on this hero. Something that's kind of hard to fit in often because there's so many other good items. Like you look at him trying to gain profit, you kind of want to have an Abyssal Blade or a Hex, some kind of disable. Like the old school build for Ursa was almost always going for something like a fast Scythe of Ice or getting a Abyssal, but plenty more options these days.
Oh my goodness, that Aetherland's finger.
And the
goes up
Aetherland's
and
Dragon
over.
Slave as well.
Jesus. Universe.
Not the
Down
pair.
for the count. Being 50 seconds, does have a buyback here, and it does not look like EHOME are looking to let up, but I love this play from Arteezy. He's cutting the wave, forcing the trees to kind of keep it at bay, and EHOME will just as fast make the rotation towards the mid lane.
Yeah, they can still assault the top lane with creeps in the mid-high ground, but for now they're just going to go for range racks. One of the nice things of having the tree protector means if EHOME just do a bit of damage here, it's going to get healed up, so they've got to kind of fully commit if they want to try and take a racks.
Freaking coconut.
He
Tempted
just
blink dog isn't
expires.
there, but they get their racks. So would you say already it's been a successful Aegis life with that? But oh, they're looking to fight, man. They
more
move in for
successful.
Sumail. They get the Laguna. They get the kill. Double buybacks coming out from EG as Kaka's going to be eating up the Malik. There's the crush, and there's the kill right there. They get the 1-kill response, but they'll need to be getting a lot more to justify these double buybacks. They'd already lost their mid lane racks, and a simple Tusk kill I don't think is going to be enough.
Ursa's looking to turn this one if they chase really far and hard.
Repositioning. Tornado's going to be off the mark. Now they're going to get the Yules here for Universe, but he's able to pop and step aside from the damage right now. Gets a bit of heal from the living armor and is able to make it away to safety. 11 sends in the bear now, looking to go for Sumail. And, well, he drops the ice wall, and Universe is going to assist, jumping in with the crush. Now they look for PPD. They're going to get the kill with the LSA. Back on the low side here. The bear continuing to shove them out back. Ghost Scepter's going to be forced out, and they get the Yule set up for Arteezy with that long range, and CTY is going to be able to scratch them apart. Arteezy's out, nearly 80 seconds, does have a buyback, but it's not going to matter. EG call it game number 1. Going to be going to EHOME.
Just very much the CTY show, and that's what you've got to have for EHOME, I think, to beat a team like EG. As much as like they're the full package as far as their drafting has been fantastic. They've had some very innovative picks. Old Chicken's kind of added a bit of new flair in that drafting role throughout this tournament. And Lamb, just as the kind of captain and general shot caller for the team, has been solid as ever. But CTY has to have big games. He's very much like the key player to look out for. He's kind of like the miracle of this team. If he has a quiet game, EHOME aren't going to win, but this was 11-0-5. It looks like a game where Ursa should get kited pretty badly too. You're against Invoker, you're against the Sprout we saw at the end there. If he gets caught in that one, he doesn't really have a good way of getting out, but the itemization towards the BKB, the Diffusal, and later the Ag Scepter very much designed to counter it. Although we never really saw the Ags come into play this game, still a very kind of good idea and concept with the Ags. And if it had gone on longer, if that last push hadn't worked, it could have been a big game-changing item.
So EHOME will take game 1. They set the pace already, but we're in store for a full best of 5 here. So EG are going to be down but not out, and EG are one of the best teams at being able to bounce back. I apologize ahead of time if I say it wrong, but I know that Scant said on Twitter that EG, I believe, not since Summit 3, they haven't lost to the same team twice in like a best of 3, from battling at the start and through the lower bracket.
Okay.
So if they lose this, it would be a first in quite a while.
Yeah.
This team adapts very well through best of 3s or even best of 5s.
It already feels like a different series from their last BO3 is the thing, though. But when I say that, I don't mean like EG's adapted. I just feel like that BO3 was so long ago. Since then, it's not like EG just dropped down to the lower bracket and then has to win one match. Like they lost in the winner bracket final. They played through the lower bracket final. Then they versus the same team. They had to go through like 4 other teams to get here. So it feels like since 2 days ago when they lost to EHOME, the metagame shifted because this tournament's kind of developed its own little metagame of what heroes are being prioritized. So we're already seeing new stuff. And I think EHOME, recognizing that EG's a team that's going to adapt, that's why they wanted to go a different direction. That's why they pick up a hero like Ursa. They say, you guys think you can adapt and prepare for us? Think again. We've got new heroes. We've got new stuff.
Something PPD is not really prepared for it. It's the opposite of OG. It's like they almost just knew, they're going to go for the Wisp, and we'll be able to play around that. But you can't assume that with a team like EHOME. They'll pull something right out of their back pocket, and it's going to leave you guessing. So that means we're in store for a great series. We're going to go ahead and cut to a small break. When we return, it's going to be game number 2 of EG versus EHOME.